Greetings, I am Lies, and I use she, her.
And I am Scandal, and I use they, them.
And let's play a game together!
Hooray!
Alright, so we have accepted the job, and now we are potentially going to try and see what the other 3 boys in our life are up to, because you can't have a dramatic, college-bound angst game about romance without at least 4 love interests, I guess. You know what's funny? Actually, just yesterday, I was trying to explain, 2 days ago, to one of my friends and one of their friends how basically dating games work based on my experience so far, and neither of them have ever played either a visual novel or a dating game, and so they were having a tough time understanding, like, there's a deep amount of, like, context you need for these various things.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, I mentioned love interest, and they're like, oh, yeah, like a love triangle. I'm like, no.
No.
If you only have 2 love interests that are into you, then you have a very, very small game. You need 3 at minimum. Then 4, 5, or 6 is, getting up there where it's more normal.
It's true.
I was going to say, and it's like, I feel like suddenly, when having to explain that to a set of my friends, there was this very strong experience of going, oh, these teen romance novels are weak. They should have 3 or 4 people interested in their protag, at least.
Right?
Instead of the, and can you imagine if in that case, when they're parading them out and you're following, basically the rhythm of the beat by beat of the, teen romance novel. Right. You hit the one guy and you're like, okay, there's the love interest. You hit the second guy and you're like, okay, there's the secondary love interest. Then you hit a third guy and you're like, wait a second. Okay, that guy's not even in the running. Then you hit a 4th guy and then all of them are actively in the running and there's not even like a prime favorite. And then the author has to balance all 4 of these capable, interesting, hopefully complex characters that are all sexy in their own way, much like a dating game, right? But they write it as a, as your romance novel in your like dystopian future, and suddenly, as a reader, you're going, but I knew what was happening until, and it occurred to me, and I was just giggling to myself about it. So that one,
it's true.
Right.
I spot Ben, Joey, and Alex with a group of girls at a table. You literally spoke for 2 minutes, friend. Good
sorry.
job.
I mean, thank you for listening to my story. You're saying I couldn't have told that story on TikTok. It was too long.
Yeah, you couldn't have.
Yeah, pretty much.
You get more succinct.
All right.
10 words or less. All right, so, wait a minute. We really did just go, like, let's just abandon Nate?
It is. Well, Nate had to go on with his band, remember?
Oh,
and the whole band nodded at you because they're going on. And apparently it's not an option to sit with, like, Kayla because, she's having an experience with
on
Mark.
her own.
I was going to say, but I don't know if we consider Ben, Joey, and Alex to be our friends.
I don't know either, actually. And with a group of girls, sounds like you're
drama?
busy. Yes.
It also sounds like drama. That Vern does not want.
Nay, sit alone. Looks like a bunch of girls are flirting with him. I don't want to awkwardly butt into their conversation, so I sit alone. I decide to order a soda. Well, wait. The atmosphere's nice.
Who do we think it is?
Mind if I sit here? I keep hoping it's Ben. I think it's... Huh? Oh, never mind.
It's just a person.
All
right.
Mind if I sit here?
There we go.
I'm taken aback as a tall, handsome young man approaches me.
Someone who knows you are involved slightly with the leader of the band and just wants your attention as well.
Right?
Oh.
He sits on the chair next to me without waiting for my answer. Yes? Go ahead?
That pause, see, again. And they suddenly, Vern's thrown off again. That lack of confidence that's in her grammar of going, yes, it's already happening.
I stutter awkwardly. He's really good looking, but I don't think I've met him before. Because I only meet good looking people, don't you realize? That's what that line means.
Or it means I only remember good looking people. Or
Which also, though, I only meet good looking people because I literally don't consider anyone else to be a person. Does that make sense?
I think that's a little extreme for Vern, really.
But I'm like, regardless of, like, I've seen people do that. They're like, I met all these great people. And you're like, I was there with you. There was some really weird, like, you're just like, what? No, it's fine. And you're just like, okay. Sure.
I don't know.
Different standards.
I do know that some people only seem to remember people that they find attractive.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's that kind of thing.
Well, they go, wow, everybody there that night.
But
and you're like,
that they absolutely remember everyone who's attractive of going, they're really attractive. If I've met him before, I should remember. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Why is that? Is he a student from our school? Hey. I'm Brody.
It's Brody. Oh, Brode.
I'm a Brode.
Brode.
The local birds will get along in their experience on the beach. Brodes. Honestly, it's the funniest damn TikToks I think I've seen lately. Hi. Oh, nice to meet you. I'm
burn, I know.
Oh my god.
He winks.
Thanks.
I go to the same school as you. I'm a senior there. There's no way I'd forget a pretty face like yours.
Oh god.
You're pretty popular these days.
Quite popular.
Oh. Right. I blush. I'm sure he's referring to the rumors because I feel
uncomfortably.
What's a beauty like you doing alone, anyway?
This is just a setup for some dude to come rescue us.
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
fine.
Oh my god.
I'm just waiting for my friends.
Brody sucks his teeth.
Okay, that's new. That
Right.
is a gesture I've not seen anyone do in here that I know of. Just that.
I'm like, that thing. I can never tell like what people are going for with that gesture.
I think what it is what they're trying to do when they write it is they're just going. It's that thing where remember that judgy face like the salesman will make, where you're like, maybe I should get this one. And they go, you know, that kind of thing, and that's the sucking your teeth. So there's a nervous gesture of sucking your teeth where you literally just are sucking on your teeth, but it's not an expressive gesture where you're going, and that one is really like, that's the pull back, like judgy suck your teeth.
Brody sucks on his teeth.
You mean those squares over there?
He points with his thumb at the table where the girls are flirting with my friends. Well, yeah.
Please, look at them. How lame.
Yes.
They're basking in the attention from those girls and leaving their friend here alone.
Oh, the tragedy.
Woo. You know what I think is really interesting?
Huh.
Like, the level of, like... I can't tell where the cock block is from. So, there's a way this language is, like, the focus is they're basking attention on those girls and leaving their friend here alone.
Okay.
It's like... There's some way that that's being said that I don't know how to explain. It sounds weird.
Okay.
Like, the focus is different. Like, normally it'd be like, I'd feel like his Brody's focus, usually, like, I feel like writers try to go, like, especially, like, written by men.
Okay.
I don't know how to describe it, where they're going, like, the women are very clearly, like, really hot and in your way, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know, there's something, like, I apologize. Like, based on all the reading that I've ever done in the world, there's a way that this line is constructed that's fucking with me.
So to me, what this is him immediately trying to distance you from your normal social group.
And I get that.
And as I say, and so there's an experience of him downplaying your friends by clearly stating what it is they're doing that he thinks is inappropriate, and he assumes would be universally socially inappropriate, being like, basically setting up without saying it, they can't care about you, they're not making you a priority.
Right.
And that they are the squares he labeled them as simply because they're sort of being taken in by some pretty face, if you will, rather than their important friend. Friends before, bros before hoes, shouldn't they think about their friend first?
Except that, like, it almost sounds, so you'll have to forgive me, like, again, the associated trope that I feel like I'm trying... Like, I feel like more when, like, say, like, young adult romance writers or, basically, like, just sort of, like, newer romance writers or whatever, they're usually socialized, in my experience, as women. And there's largely a focus on going, the guys don't deserve you, and they don't really necessarily talk about the women much, unless, like, they're trying to create drama with the girls, because, like, a lot of the guy writers that I've ever read, there's usually a lot of, like, heavy emphasis on, like, the women and how much more attractive they are, and then you have that level of jealousy. Like, they take the blame off the dudes and they put it on the girls. Does that make sense?
See,
and, like, he's
case...
going, like, the guys are the important part, because this is a romance game written from a certain perspective. Now, that doesn't mean I don't want to ID the writers on this. This is ridiculous. I know I've been trying, because there has been a way that people are taught how to write and the kind of things that they expose themselves to, and it's really funny to see it pop up in their writing of going, like, these are the things you thought were interesting or thought were important.
Right. See, and I think in this case it really is about... he assumes that those three men are potentially like your interests or prospects for you because they're attractive.
Why else
and
would
socially
you be
value.
yeah.
He also knows you're around them because he knows you from school, etc. I was just saying, and he's basically trying to devalue them and scoot his way in.
Right.
Like, that's all. That's the primary I'm getting for it. And the reason the attention is on the guys is because he's trying to lower the social value of the men.
But it also is like there's this weird emphasis on the guys that sort of just like, I don't know how to describe. I can't do this. It's fine.
It's okay.
All right.
Leaving that friend here alone. Is that your phone, by the way?
Hi.
He points at my phone on the counter. Oh, yes? He picks it up without asking, then presses some keys.
Whoa.
There. Now you have my number. If you ever want to hang out, and your friends are being lame again, hit me up.
I'm surprised your phone wasn't locked, girl.
That sounds bunk. Maybe she was just using it and she got surprised and she put it down.
That
But,
kind of
like,
thing.
I have such a habit of, like, locking my smartphone instantly that I find that to be weird, unless that was really weird. Like,
well,
which can happen. Some people go, hi, I've been thrown off because now I'm alone in a bar, and I was expecting to kind of hang out with my friends, and I don't really know what I'm doing, I'm a little disoriented.
And if it wasn't in her hand, if it was sitting on the table and she was just poking at it kind of thing, then she could have just looked up and it could have been there,
Right? Or then she just kind of left it there while she was like, and I'm sort of like have my hand near it, but he just kind of reaches over and takes it, and you're like, whoa!
Why don't you just drink with me instead?
Huh? I'm taken aback to be offered a drink by this kind, handsome, mysterious stranger.
I mean, we don't like to do drinks.
No, we don't.
So this shouldn't even be drink with Brody, don't drink with Brody. This character is established. I don't want to do the alcohol.
Like...
So don't drink is right in line. Now, it sounds like we're going to be forced. Now, usually we've been forced to drink. But Byrne has tried over and over throughout this game to assert that she does not want to drink.
Poor thing, though. I'm like, you really have this value system that you've just sort of lived under of going, if they're hot, that means it's okay.
And also that you're supposed to give them your time and your attention. And even if they make you uncomfortable or they invade your space or they just grab your phone, you're like, I'm supposed to be flattered by the social experience they're bringing over here, by the social value they bring to the table of being handsome and going kind because he spoke softly to me.
However, this does also feel a little bit like the exaggerated behavior that I've even seen with just some men, like cis men that I've seen around some cis women that I've been around too, where they're just like, I just grab and interact with their stuff even if we're not really getting along. The guys typically start it first, and then the girls will typically respond in kind. So you're kind of like, this is awkward. Like, and you can tell there's some distinct, like, uncomfortableness.
Well, there's also that level of essentially the sort of psychological conditioning that's involved in pickup artist culture.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like you establish by basically trying to impose a leadership role over them of what the dynamic of this relationship is, such as we can touch each other, we can touch each other's stuff, we can be close to each other. And then if you keep insisting that that's the dynamic, since women are supposed to be, generally submissive to the social roles around them and generally supposed to be cooperative, then you start doing things. So recently my friend was watching some media about the second Borat movie and a bunch of the sort of like thoughtful responses to it, as well as like the controversy around it because of all the hidden camera stuff.
Right.
And one of the things that I noticed as a prevailing theme, just sort of running across the media as I was going through, the room or as they were listening to stuff nearby, right, was this experience of going, for me, I was like, these people are in a situation where Borat's character has largely been presented as an authority of some kind, whether it's a hiring individual or whether it's an interviewing individual or a host of some kind. And so a lot of them are doing a professional job position, or Borat's a customer and they are trying to, basically, pitch their business or do their business job. And so it's like, my friend is going, why are these people responding like this? This is wild. And I'm like, what I'm seeing is basically, though, a lot of people being conditioned into their job position, which is why a lot of guys in pickup culture like to hit on women that are in basically a prescribed social situation where you're supposed to act a certain way, so that they can play on that social support of you're supposed to act a certain way. And someone can be like, this is freaking weird. Why are they cooperating with this? And it's going, because when you are being hosted by an interviewer, you're not supposed to be combative to the interviewer if you are trying to promote your career, if you're trying to look professional, that kind of thing. You're not supposed to make waves. And women are especially conditioned to not supposed to make waves.
It's true.
Anyway, I don't think she would drink because she's never wanted to drink this entire game.
Yeah, no, and then she just sort of throws herself into it because it gets awkward. I have enough bad experiences with alcohol to realize this is a bad idea. No, thank you. I'm okay with this soda right here. Brody Snickers.
He's gonna mock you too.
Sue yourself. One Long Island iced tea, please.
And
because I have a tailored taste.
I just say, and he puts out his ID at this actual bar that's not a private party, and it's either a fake ID that he's 21 or he's been held back for 3 years in school.
Right?
I want to see him use a fake ID.
I think it would be super damn funny. Also, I'm just, again, kind of giggling, going, this is my, like, I admit, I expected, Brody to be like, whiskey. Dry. Or some shit like that, and you're just kind of like Scotch on the rocks. Yeah, or some kind. You're like, God fucking damn it! Like this is a particular day. He gets his drink, and we keep talking because he won't
ID
leave me alone. I've never had one, but it seems strong. I can smell it on his breath as he talks. You might also be sensitive to it because, so over time, with some people, they really can just start to, basically you have such an, like your body starts to develop a reaction to it going like, this is danger. So you actually start to go, I'm feeling nauseous, or this smell really sets me off.
Right, or I've just picked this smell up really, really easily compared to other smells. I would say, honestly, I think Byrne might have been, like, being, in this particular case, because of how they've written her in canon, a little bit more, like, actually, like, oh, this is just a social experience. I'm a little uncomfortable, but I'm not getting, like, a lot of, like, negative signs yet because of just how men are in general. But now, this immediately going from, you know, handsome and kind, whatever, to I can smell it on his breath as he talks. That is a derogatory thing.
Yeah.
Her opinion has immediately shifted to what I'm focusing on is the sensory experience that you're blasting my direction rather than you at all.
Yeah.
And so whatever level of, she could have been exaggerating a little bit of, wow, he's, you know, handsome and, you know, kind individual, what have you. Or it could have just been like, wow, he seems like a nice, you know, dude. Wow.
It's now I put a barrier up, so the thing I choose to focus on is how bad your breath smells.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now she's moved into uncomfortable territory.
Yeah, it actually smells sweet. What? Burn? I've drunk more alcohol, I think, than you, because I don't think I've had a single alcoholic experience
that
where
makes
the
your
alcohol
breath smell sweet.
Like, I get the, like, if you have a, like, super heavy sugar, but, like, you still get the alcohol smell.
She also could be, because of occasionally how they don't focus on the subject very well in this game, could be suddenly referring to the smell of the drink. Also, because I don't know, because she was talking about both of them. The drink seems really strong, and I can smell it on his breath. It smells sweet.
Which is weird, because I don't think I've ever had, like, a super strong, like, Long Island iced tea.
I've never had one, so
that's okay. Like, maybe it is just like the super like sugary version, because obviously
they did it with sweet tea.
Oh my god! Oh,
my friend's gonna die.
Okay, so I lived in Tennessee for a significant chunk of my life, and I remember like people going like, yeah, you know, you want sweet tea, you know, kind of thing. And for some reason, so the way that Mormons deal with this thing called the Word of Wisdom, you can look it up, it's really aggravating, is that there has been debate over the years as to what the language actually means in the Word of Wisdom. What drinks is the Word of Wisdom referring to, for example, when it says hot drinks,
because there's specifically a tenet in Mormonism in the Book of Mormon.
I think it's in like the Doctrine and Covenants, or it's like a separate document. I can't remember. It's fine.
In one of the Mormon documents that says you can't have hot drinks. And my friend's experience with it has been that people will argue about whether that means alcoholic drinks, warm drinks, drinks with caffeine, whatever does this mean.
Is it just tea?
Right.
I kind of want to be a shit and push pause, and then I want to go get it, because I know where it is. Like, it would be funny to read.
I bet we could put that up at some point. Honestly, I think it would be good to put it on Instagram.
Fine, but I don't want to share the Word of Wisdom like that, because then it takes it out of my control. Does that make sense? Like, I'll take it out of context. All right. Well, but the big thing is like, so I remember my story basically is, I'll wrap it up real quick, is basically when I was a kid, I always had this impression of like sweet tea or iced tea that you would see at like the Subways, or that you would see at, you know, basically like the food stores, right? Or there'd be the highly specialized, you're going to go to, you know, like we didn't go out much, so I'm kind of like, I really can't think of many, but like whenever I would go out.
At least food places out.
Right, that would have just like the sweet tea dispensers and the iced tea dispensers and whatnot. I would have this reaction because of how much the debate had gone on when I was a kid, and still continues to go on because it's stupid, where I would be like, is there alcohol in that? Or like there's something really wrong with it. Like I always went to alcohol when I was a kid because that seemed to be like the big kicker that most people talked about. But like because of the Word of Wisdom, there's a thing of like hot drinks, and then also nobody could decide if it applied to like cold tea. So some people I remember would specifically drink cold teas to get around it.
And other people
like, and other people go, that's inappropriate. That's not the letter of the law, or the spirit. Like they would have different.
And other people would be, if it's ever been hot, then it doesn't. You know, it's a hot drink.
Right. And I was like, so clearly what makes it bad though as a kid, I was like, so it's alcoholic. So I'm like, but also in the South there's a lot of like sweet teas, and I know Tennessee's not super in the South, and we spent a lot of time, you know, driving around like North Carolina, whatever else, but it was just like, oh my god, like I could see a Long Island iced tea maybe with how much sugar they tend to pack into those, like if it's the sweet tea version, like dang. But yeah, so I'm like, that just sounds hilarious, and now it actually is alcohol.
Well, hopefully this won't be the last time we talk to each other.
Hopefully it will, because we're trying to get to the end of this game.
Wait, did you tappy? Okay,
there we go.
You have my number now.
As he says that, he puts his hand over mine. it's warmer and softer than I expected for a guy.
And I focus on these two things because I'm hyper-focused on the hand itself.
Yes.
And the experience of going, this is now touching me.
It's also like, whoa, you did touchy. Oh, wow, well, maybe he is a sweet guy, after all.
Because soft hands indicate sweet people, right?
Just then he rips his hand away from mine. Huh? Wait, no, he was pulled away by someone.
Yes!
I knew it!
Excuse me, that girl belongs to me. What are you doing to my girl?
He pulls Brody off his chair and pushes him aside.
Shove! I will be violent.
But we're out of time! Hey, so thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and also share our videos if you are having a good time with us. Please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi and our Patreon. We have some links in the description down below. And honestly, if you like what we do, we would really appreciate if you did so, especially because we actually have some goals that we are trying to achieve this year, and we would love to have your support if you can. And I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies.
And it was great playing with you. Bye!